All right, everyone. I'm home. I'm with April. I'm having dinner, and you know what? We're watching Cooksy Media. Like I said, we do.
And I don't want him to put a shirt on.
And we do love your channel, dude. We certainly do. So April was like, "Oh my god, you got to see this. We got to play this." So she's running through your feed here, and she said, "Maybe this will put you more in perspective about." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yes, I did.
Because April's a moto mama. So let's go back and play this.
Right there.
Right there?
No, stop.
Right there?
Stop. Play it.
He'll know he might jump into that 450 class next year. And if you don't think the AMA is out to get him, just look at the interview that Jet Lawrence did. He said almost the exact same thing as Hayden Deegan.
Okay. So what April and I were just talking about is that I agree with you. They have to set an example now, right? Because Jet Lawrence got away with it, and he's a public figure. And you have to have some sportsmanlike conduct in the industry that's family friendly too, because this isn't Pornhub. This isn't.
You have to use that analogy.
Well, what else is there? This isn't OnlyFans, right? This is moto. This is a family sport, and you saying "suck it" as an influencer and a top tier guy, professional in the industry, is not a good thing to do. Setting the example.
Super happy and Jeff, everyone who doubted, suck it.
He could have chose better words, and you're right. They're gonna set examples now because they don't want this conduct going on or this behavior in the industry at the money they're getting for tickets and filling seats, right? How about that language is turning away ticket sales? Like, oh wow, this guy's saying suck it when he could have said something else. And then April said the Davies thing, when Deegan took Davies out, and we're just going to leave it at that somebody ran over to him and probably whispered in his ear and said,
very professional.
Keep it together, very professional. I lost my shit more than Davies did.
I don't know. I think I'm a Deegan fan, and I'll be the first one to admit
I'm not a Deegan fan. I don't care.
Him ride.
Let's finish.
Nobody made
you started this, so let's finish it.
Okay.
No punishment whatsoever. If you watched the videos I did last week and you thought I had a tinfoil hat about how the AMA and the promoters want to silence him because he's dangerous, because he stands up for himself, and he is the guy that could demand part of...
It is okay for you to be opinionated, but you have to be professional. And remember, this is a family sport, and you're getting paid by people to do this and be professional. So was Jet Lawrence professional? Absolutely not. The problem is they didn't do anything about this before Deegan did it. So now the behavior is repeating. So and if they don't nip this in the bud now, what's next? They're going to get naked on stage when they win and say, suck it? Like, how much further is it going to go? So now, yes, as these people holding these events, you have to have sportsmanlike conduct. You are influencers. You are on worldwide TV, and you can't just do that type of stuff. Cole Davies was a professional and well-spoken even at, and I was more pissed off about that incident probably than anybody because I like Cole Davies.
But you weren't pissed off when RJ took Hammaker out, I mean.
Hammaker?
Yeah. When that backfired on him and he went out too.
When they both went down?
He took him out, but he didn't. His intention was not to go down.
So the problem is there was no winner there.
But they were trying.
And this is my point on why they shouldn't be doing that. There should be more respect.
There should be just as much talk about what happened with Deegan.
For me, because they both hit the dirt, it's like, okay, we're both down and there's no advantage. And now if somebody got hurt, I'd be a little bit pissed. That's why I say unsportsmanlike conduct.
He just got kicked
the
off.
point is, they shouldn't be trying to take each other out. I would rather see clean racing. It makes for a better event. Now, is all this gibberish and talk and back and forth opinions make it good viewing content? It does. But now you have to reel the sport back in and say, hey, we don't want you saying bad shit to the viewers, and we want you to act like a professional, like Davies did. And now we're going to have to set examples because we're not going to tolerate this in the industry. This is a family event. People go there with their little children. And saying that kind of stuff is not proper. It just doesn't work. So yes, Kotze's probably right. Yeah, and they're going to set an example out of Deegan. And if he keeps riding rough, like Vince Freezy, there's going to be more to come. And he's got the target not only on his back for the number one plate, right? Now he's going to have the target from the viewers, and he's also going to have target from social media. And now he's going to have target from the big money here that says, hey, dude, we're not going to tolerate your nonsense. And so what that we let Jet get away with it? Now we see this behavior. We don't want that behavior continuing. Also, they don't want the behavior of riders taking each other out. Right. This sport is already dangerous enough. Already dangerous enough. I agree. So you were right there, Cooksey Media.
The profit sharing from this new TV deal, well, here's your proof, man. Jet said almost the exact same thing as Hayden Deegan. Not a word. Deegan says it, and they're trying to clip his wings. They're
going to set an example because they don't want this behavior no longer. So Jet got away with it, and then now it's the Dragons has showed its face again, and Deegan is that face. So if you don't think Deegan heard Jet say that before, that's the influence. So Jet influenced Deegan, right? There was some type of influence there to have the same behavior if you're following along.
The move. And I got some more thoughts on the Lawrences and how they're kind of anti-American this year.
Oh
yeah.
I missed that.
And some other stuff they've done, and it's kind of rubbing me wrong. You got the whole Lucas Myrtle situation.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Saying that American fans don't like them, which is just not true. That is not true.
I think there's always something like that when these guys come. Like Ken Roxon came from Germany, right?
You want some more noodles?
No, Ken Roxon. Here's April. He said he was talking to his wife. Moto girl knew nothing about moto. Spent 6 years with me, and she's moto guru now.
Love moto.
That I think that there is some rivalry. No different than motocross of nations, right? These guys come from different countries, get their citizenship, get here, get paid American money, pay their taxes, and then eventually the public welcomes them in until they step out of line and say, hey, dude, you're an American citizen. And, I don't really feel that way so much. I think if they're here, right, when you become an American citizen, like they said, for your citizenship, that is an agreement that you are going to respect the government. You're going to respect law and order. You're going to pay your taxes and all that stuff. And then you're going to respect your flag and you're going to do everything for your country. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think there is just some, German, Ken Roxon, an American, the French guys come over here and think they're going to beat up on all the American guys. And sometimes it does happen. And then, all these European guys want to come to the U.S. because it's the baddest sport on the planet. And they want to tango with the best guys. And most of the best guys are in America. Most. You have the Antonio Cairolis and, all these other guys that stay in their playground, right? They don't really come over here and battle in their playground. They may do good or they may do bad. I don't really know. But when they come over here from Germany or France or where's the Outback? What the hell is his name? I can't think of it right now. I can't think of his name. He's from where the kangaroos are. Where's that? Australia? Who's the Australian rider? I can't think of his name. He's a dad and his wife. We watched their YouTube. They have a track and stuff. Oh my God! I got a brain fart. Tutu Motorsports. What's his name? I can't even think of it. Anyway, I'll never forget James Stewart. Never. If my favorite rider of all times is James Stewart. If anyone cares to know. James Stewart and Mookie, turning it up. Mookie is bringing the heat. Cody Schock is bringing the heat in a 250. There's going to be hopefully next year's 250 season is going to be off the chain. If everything goes well outdoors, next year's Supercross is going to be off the chain. And 450 outdoors should be off the chain with everyone back and healthy. And my ultimate current best guy of all time right now, and it ain't the Lawrences. Who's my favorite rider? 450.
Sexton?
Well, Sexton's your favorite rider because he's so handsome.
No.
And he rides so well.
My favorite rider.
Well, Tomac's my favorite. Sexton's
is
actually
not my favorite
Sexton has
rider.
come along a long way recently, and
I think Sexton needs to grow up a little bit because
he's maturing. You could see it.
yeah, but when he messes up way too much, he just cries.
Well, that's okay to be emotional.
He just needs.
I wanted to cry yesterday. I wasn't kidding.
I know you weren't.
I wasn't kidding. I wanted to cry in my business yesterday. Sit in my office and cry. But I didn't. I wanted to, but I didn't. And it's okay to cry because grown men can cry and women can cry. It's normal. And you can have toilet paper stuck to your face.
If it's not Sexton, then it's Malcolm Stewart. You always talk about Sexton, so I don't know.
I think his riding style is phenomenal. He's James Stewart in a little bit slower pace. I wish we could just have two of them riding on the track at the same age and the same mentality and really see how it was. Because James would ride over his head and he didn't care because he wanted to be the fastest all the time. And he hit the dirt a lot. And I think that's where Sexton is learning where he doesn't need to be that fast in his head.
You have a lot of favorite riders.
And he can make them. I do. Cooper Webb's not one of my favorite rider.
I didn't say Webb.
But he won. He's not my favorite rider.
I was rooting for him.
When Mookie rode a wheelie through the rhythm section, the last, not this race or last race?
Saturday.
That was Saturday?
Last week, not this week.
That just shows me like superb talent. So, yeah. No more saying I suck it on national TV to your viewers. You do not want to lose viewers, although sometimes you do. Yeah, so Jet, over here, this guy, Jet, got away with it. And now, you know who's not going to get away with it?
Anything but love for Australians. So I'm thinking back to some of the derogatory comments that he made about American fans. And I'm like, and then I think about him and how he's treating Joe Shimoda now. It's just not good. It's not a good look. But we get to see Jet Lawrence and his brother in 2 weeks out at Paula.
I hope Eli Tomac comes back 100% and smokes those guys.
So if you want to know my opinion,
I do.
I can't wait for Deegan to get on a 450. I can't wait. Because he's going to be the one, and I'm not talking shit about any of the other 450 riders, but we've seen it. Nobody can give Jet a competition like Deegan.
I don't think that's... No.
Yes.
I don't think
Deegan
so.
is so aggressive, and he can go from last to first in a whole moto.
I don't think anyone in the 450 class will tolerate, and I'm going to say this, Deegan's a bully. Not this guy, but Deegan is a bully. I'm going to say it, Deegan's a bully.
He has the oomph.
His attitude, his persona, his I don't give
He
a...
has confidence. And he doesn't
I'm saying to you
just get out
that
and ride in number one. He
I'm
can go down
I
and
know-
be last and go all the way up.
I agree.
He has the motivation. He has the talent.
There's no doubt that he has the heart, the talent, the want, and my poo don't stink attitude. But I feel that mind game that he plays with everybody, and including his own teammates, is a form of bullying.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting when he gets on.
This is just me. That's just me talking. I don't really care what anyone else has to say. But yeah. Now Deegan not only has a target on his back for the number one plate, but now the powers that be are saying, yeah, dude, you're going to get in line or we're going to make this really hard for you. And they should. This is a family sport and nobody should be saying you can suck it at any form of television or social media event. They should say nothing at all. Like, sorry, you guys don't agree with me. I did the best that I could. I made my mistakes, but, I'm the champ. And I'll do better. I'm sorry that you're booing. I don't want you to boo. I want everyone in here to cheer for me. There's a lot of different things that he could have said instead of taking the soft route, the immature route like Jetson did, and just say, well, you can just suck it. Because that just shows the immaturity. But there's going to powers that be aren't going to tolerate that. And they don't want this behavior to go on and on. I don't want the behavior to go on. I want good, clean racing. and there's going to be times where that a clean pass happens and we watch it all the time, right? But I can do without the takeouts. Although it makes people talk, you don't want a lot of people saying you just took out my favorite guy and now he's out for the season, right? Or now it's a career ending, because the sport's dangerous as it is. And I think good, clean racing is, and competitive racing and battles, right? Good, clean battles are what really makes viewing for Supercross. No different than you watching hockey or field hockey or soccer. You know, you watch women's. I've been watching some women's basketball, and these chicks are aggressive. Like, you don't need to push your teammate down because she's better than you, right? You know, it's not necessary. Good, clean, sportsmanlike conduct. That's all. I don't think that's too much to ask for from a guy who's old moto. And let me show you something here. Let me just show you how old I am. So just so you know, there's no fugazis. So that was NEOC Woods Racing. Next to that is a second place at Field of Dreams in a C class. And 2015 I kind of ended my moto with a torn ligament, and I never went back since. Although I should go back. So I was a really good C class rider, as you see by my 2 trophies there. I have some more somewhere else. I also have another trophy from riding arena cross. So I wasn't really great. I'm a good rider. And going to the track Sunday and spending the day there with Brian Carroll at New Jersey Motorsports Field of Dreams, which is a fantastic place. Brighton was away racing some Ironman event, and I heard he did really well. He didn't get first. I think he got a second or third, which is fantastic. That's not what he does. He's motocross, supercross. And then I spent the day with Brian, who's, you know, a little older than me, pro, and he hasn't been riding. And, you know, he was out there putting in some laps, and he has an old riding style like Barry Karsten. So I know Barry, and I know his son, Corey Karsten. And I know Cody Schock, and I know a bunch of guys that are coming through the ranks that you know, Barry has that old riding style. And I told Brian, I said, if this Brian Carroll right now, who's going to do, let's say, Mini O's qualifier at Englishtown. Yeah, so this Saturday is Mini O's qualifier. I think that's what he said. He'll be there. I said, I watched 50 plus class at Race of Champions, and I said, damn. And I know my riding techniques and style, and I haven't been on a bike in oh God, I'm even sad to say it now, 10 years. That with a little bit, it was probably about 6 months, I could have mopped up the whole 50 plus class at Englishtown. And I told Brian, I said, there's nobody that's going to beat you. If Brian Carroll that I watched today at Field of Dreams showed up, and we worked on his technique a little bit with, you know, being more neutral on the bike and being more forward. It's very awkward for a guy that comes from old riding styles to adapt to the new. It's not really adapting to the new style. It's the bike that you're adapting to, because the bikes of yesteryears, you know, a lot of those riders were, the weight was more back on the bike, because I think they just delivered the power and handling different. This is just me saying, because I remember riding 125 and racing 125 two-stroke, that I was always hanging off the back of the bike, and then stepping into 250. So the NEOC was a CR 250 back then, 89, and then those other awards were on a, what was I riding then? That was a Honda CR 450, 4-stroke. Yeah, so that's no Fugazi. I got 2. I don't think I got any. Never got any first places. Multiple second places. But yeah, I am moto. So anyway, Brian, I said, Brian, I'm going to work on your technique today, and you show me what you got, and I'm going to give you the feedback. And I just talked to him today. I said, how you feel? He goes, I'm beat up, dude. I said, good. That means you're race ready for Saturday. But, you know, we cleaned up some of his body position. It was just a little bit move here, a little bit move there, and making the bike work under him more than him working the bike. And I think he made some good progress today. And then I plan on getting with Brighton to still work on Supercross. I said that I need some time with him to work on entry and exit speed and whoops. This kid will be a whoops pro, and I feel that if it's a nasty whoop section, that's the equalizer for the guys that can annihilate the whoops like James Stewart and Cole Davies and who else? Malcolm Stewart, Eli Tomac. Like, you watch the time that these guys make up in a whoop section, why everyone's struggling, especially when it's a double whoop section. I mean, not too many people have problems on rhythms, doubles, and triples. Some quads are difficult. But whenever there's gnarly whoops, these dudes crap their pants. And if you get a start and you're a master of the whoops, you're doing good. A lot of other factors to this sport, but my personal goal is to just get Brighton entry speed and exit speed on his whoops, and his whoop speed, right? So it all works together. You have to enter the whoops at the right speed. You have to carry enough momentum so that the bike can skim the whoops, right? And then once you get out of the whoops with enough speed, right, to have the next momentum to take the next whoop section on at the right speed. So it's all about flow. If you watch Cole Davies hit the whoops, oh my God. If you watch Malcolm Stewart hit the whoops, these guys hardly ever struggle. Ken Roxon hardly ever struggle. Chad Reed, sorry. God darn it. It was Chad Reed 2-2. Chad Reed, sir. I think he's racing Minios too. But I don't know if it's...
We watch his whole family.
We watch his whole family. We love Chad Reed. I think he still had plenty of years left in him. And I think a lot of these guys do.
This little guy riding that one.
Yeah, his daughter and his children. Yeah, we watch all that. So I don't know if I'm going to make Englishtown this weekend. I might. My race car's got a blown head gasket, and I'm sad but anxious to get that apart and see what really failed and get it back together and get it back on a dyno. Thanks for watching. There's no TP, and I did cut myself shaving today. Thanks for watching.